We source houses for group home operators, independent living operators, shared living operators, and we find the house for them.
This is my
Basically,
first time ever
it's all
seeing
been on
you
phone.
ever.
Yep.
Yes, yes. We
Good to
have
see you.
sent emails and we've talked on the phone once. And
Yes.
that's it. But
Yep.
you've helped my clients so much. You really have. So
Thank you.
I want to know, can you tell us what do you do? I know what you do. I know you find properties for people, but what exactly you have a company called Rental Home Locator. And what do
Yes.
you do with that?
Yeah. So again, yeah, thanks for asking. I have a company called Rental Home Locator. And with that company, we source houses for group home operators, independent living operators, shared living operators, and we find the house for them. That's pretty much what we do.
Wow.
And we get it done for them.
Okay, and what made you start this business?
Well, that's a great question. So, what made me start this business is seeing the need. So, first, I had already obtained maybe three houses at that time for myself. And I realized this is simple, very easy. And I noticed that other people needed a house and they couldn't find a house. It wasn't as easy for them. They needed to get all these permissions and just all kinds of crazy things. And at that point, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, this is easy for me. I might as well help others find a house for their business.
So when you said you had three houses already, were you doing group homes or co-living out of those homes?
Yeah, I was. I was doing group homes. So
Oh,
I have one in a different state. It's a duplex that I rent out specifically to veterans. And then I have a couple houses locally in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, at that time.
oh, okay.
At that time. And so
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, this is pretty simple. I see other people need help, they need assistance, and I can definitely assist them.
Wow. Okay. And that's awesome that you help veterans. Are you a veteran too?
I am not. I am not a
Oh,
veteran.
okay. I'm a veteran. So that's
Thank you for
close
your
to my heart.
service. I appreciate you.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
so
I
sweet.
think I think it just kind of fell into my lap a little bit. I think at that time I was super new. I didn't know what I was doing, so I called everybody, every demographic,
Yeah.
and it just happened to fall in my lap with veterans. Although that was my demographic of choice,
Hmm.
yeah, it fell into my lap a
Yeah.
little easier than expected.
I always tell my coaching clients to cast a wide net because with my first house, actually, I wanted to just house veterans. That was my idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to open this home. I'm going to house veterans because I'm a veteran. And San Antonio is military city. So with my home being in San Antonio, I was like, okay, I'm going to house veterans. But I'm so glad I did cast a wide net and just see who was attracted to my house because veterans didn't even like my house. It was different. Yeah, it was there are other organizations out there like San Antonio Independent Living Services and what's the other one? Center for Healthcare Services. People who they help people who have mild mental issues and things like that, but they're controlled with medicine and they take their own medication and everything. But those people were very attracted to my house and they filled up all my beds. So I'm glad I didn't just narrow it down to just veterans.
Yeah,
Even though I love veterans and I am
right.
one, but you have to cast a wide net and see who's interested in your
You
home.
do. You absolutely do. If
Yeah.
you just stick with, especially for your first house, if you're two, three, four houses in, then maybe because you've been doing the work in regards to talking to organizations and speaking to different coalitions and nonprofits. But when you first start with your first house, cast a wide net. So you're right. That's
Right.
mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was going to ask you what types of people use your service. You said you help group homes, co-living. Do you help assisted living? Like who do you usually help?
So we generally help those individuals that are unlicensed, right? Like we're unlicensed, so we would be, I guess, considered independent living. Some may call us shared living, co-living. I kind of
Hmm.
think of them as all the same. And then we
Hmm.
also have a few individuals that are licensed group home operators. So they have established group homes where they help different demographic of people like IDD, and we help them find homes too. So we help everybody.
Okay. 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 Good. So if somebody was going to, you might not want to answer this because this is your whole business, but if somebody wanted to go and find a home to rent from a landlord, like what makes a landlord want to work with that person, want to allow this person to use their home to sublease it to other people?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm willing to answer any questions for sure. I think to find the right landlord, you have to kind of put yourself out there. You have to tell them about your business. I speak to a lot of operators who are like, hey, if you help me, are you going to be transparent and tell them what you're doing? And I absolutely. And I think most of them get nervous when I say that because they think that they should not be transparent. So I think that's the
Hmm.
number one thing. Be very transparent. That's mandatory. And then just tell them about the benefits of your business, why it's beneficial to rent to you opposed to a traditional tenant. So those are the main
Hmm.
things. Be transparent because think about it like this.
Yes.
If it's your house that you were renting, you would want to know who was in your home, right? And then so I think it's only right to be transparent and then tell them the benefits, right? Renting to us as operators is very, very beneficial. We offer quite a bit. We do a lot. We manage our own residents. We pay for rent. We kind of guarantee the rent thing because we have these residents. We get insurance. We take care of repairs up into $500. And so
Right.
just tell
Hmm.
them the benefits and they'll start, they'll open up. Now, I'll tell you this. We help lots of people get houses. Is every landlord we speak to okay with what we do and are all of them willing to do it? Absolutely not. They're not. Some
No.
people are used to traditional and that's okay. That's totally fine. But the thing is keep going, find the landlords who are interested in renting to you and go from there.
I agree, be transparent. I tell all my coaching clients and let them know that you're going to be subleasing to other people.
Hmm.
But as far as getting into the weeds, I've had some bad experiences with landlords who want to know every little thing. They want to know each person who's going to be in the house. And I feel like that's too much. They don't need to be all in the business like that. What do you think about that?
Agree. It's not, I think the only person they need to know something about is their direct tenant, which would be you, myself,
Right.
right? The
Exactly.
other operators. But as far as who we're housing, they don't need to know about that because we are the ones managing those individuals. So, I mean,
Okay. Good.
we run across homeowners that want that information as well. And we tell them no. And this is the thing. If it
Okay.
works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. So don't be afraid to
Hmm.
walk away. If it does not work,
Right.
it doesn't work. We will walk away in a heartbeat.
Okay. Yes.
Mhm.
You're so positive though.
Thank you.
That's what works, I think. So do you I know now you've grown a lot. I know when we first started talking, I think you were the one who was talking to the landlords and things like that. So you probably have a team now, right?
So I
Do you
do
have a
have a
team or do
team.
you do everything? Oh, okay.
No, I have a team,
Okay.
but I will jump in from time to time. If it's necessary, I'll jump in and say, hey, this is
Yeah.
what we can do.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because sometimes landlords or people in general want to speak to someone of authority, right? And that makes
Mhm.
them feel
Yes.
even more comfortable. This is the
Yes.
manager or supervisor. And then, they feel
Mhm.
a little more comfortable. But yes, we have a team. We have a small team and they are the
Okay.
ones that contact the landlords. So they're doing all the willing and dealing. They're doing all the negotiation
Mhm.
behind the scenes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've actually had coaching clients who's the landlord, the potential landlord who they were talking to wanted to talk to me, and they wanted yes, and they wanted to know everything about each person in each bed. That's too much. That's somebody who I was like, no, this is a red flag.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
Yeah.
use that landlord.
Well, yeah. I
Okay,
mean, that
cool.
kind of boils back down to be okay with walking away. Some things are not okay. One thing we
Right.
do not allow the landlord to go up. I personally was speaking with a landlord homeowner today, and he's like, yeah, we'll rent to you, but it's going to be significantly more. It was a house that's listed online. And I just said, we
Mm-hmm.
only pay market rent, so it just won't work. I'm okay with walking away. There's other houses, right? So be okay with walking away. If they start talking about paying more than it's listed for, considering it's a listed home. If they want you to
Mm-hmm.
do things that are not comfortable or just doesn't make sense, then just walk away.
Right.
Let that
I
one
do
go.
feel like, yes, I completely agree because I have talked to some homeowners who, once they find out what's going to be happening in the home,
Hmm.
then they want to go way up on the rent.
Yeah.
But one thing I do tell my coaching clients, though, is they could use it as a bargaining chip to go up a little bit. So if the house is listed for, say, 2,200, but you
Hmm.
want to lock in a long term lease and you don't want them to go up on your rent, and you also want the ability to sublease, maybe offer them 2300 instead of 2200, and say, but I want to pay 2300 for 3 years.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
that something that
Lock
you
it
would
in.
do?
We
Yeah.
generally do not go up.
You don't go up at all. Oh, okay.
Nope. If a house is
Okay.
listed and I have it for an operator and they see that it's listed
Mhm.
for 2100, for example, and I say, "Oh, okay, the rent is going to be 2250." It's not because I'm going up on the rent. I have probably baked in one of the deposits in that, I probably have baked that into the length of the lease, right? I probably have made
Okay.
that in like an
Okay.
installment type of thing. But otherwise, we
Right.
don't go up. I won't go up. I refuse to go up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know people do. I know people do. And if it works for someone, then I would do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
But we won't go up on
Okay.
that. Yeah.
You had mentioned that sometimes they want to talk, instead of talking to one of your team, maybe they want to talk to you because it's somebody with authority. So, what kind of documentation or preparation makes an operator, if they're going out on their own and not using Rental Home Locator,
Hmm.
what makes them look professional and trustworthy when they're talking to a landlord? Are there any tips?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. I think, first of all, if you have business cards, make sure you have and you're going to speak to them in person, make sure you have your business
Okay.
cards. If you're going in person, please try to come by yourself unless you have a partner. Don't bring any children or any pets or anything
Mm,
like that. And I think
okay.
also being able to show them your website and being able to convey what it is that you're doing. I think that's the best thing. I think
That's a good tip.
yeah, I
Okay.
think although you can have all of these other things, right? Like I mentioned, the business card and go make sure you look nice when you go see the house in person and things of that nature, conveying your business, being confident. As long as you're confident, they're going to go for it. Yeah, more than likely they will. So confidence will probably be the biggest thing to take with you.
Right.
Is your
You know what?
confidence.
Confidence and positivity, it goes such a long way.
It
Just
does.
being able to keep a smile, even if things aren't what you want to hear, but to be able to just keep it moving, be like, you know what, this isn't for us, but
Yeah.
thank you for your
But thank
time, and
you.
just keep
Yeah.
it moving. That goes such a long way. And this business that you're in is definitely not for the weak.
It is not
It's
for the
not for
weak
the weak. That's
at
why I
all.
asked you if you were in the military before, because you still have a smile and just like, yeah, okay, let's just keep going.
Just keep on
That's how I
going.
am. Keep
Yeah.
on
Well,
going.
that's how it is in life in general, though, right? You have to still
Right.
continue to move on. It just is. Nothing is always going to go 100% in your favor. It just will not happen that way. You still have to be able to
Mm-hmm.
keep moving, though. Just keep moving.
You're awesome, Nicole. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. You're
Okay.
awesome.
So, do I get this question a lot?
Hmm.
Do landlords care about, and it's probably a yes, but I just want to ask anyway, do they care about like credit score,
Yeah.
income, experience, presentation? Like, what do they care about? Because let me just explain it more.
Okay.
I have people who are just starting their business and they say, I want to rent out this house under my business name. And I explain to them that if they're going to rent it out under their business name and that landlord cares about credit, that business is brand new and has no credit history, but the person has credit history. So, what is your take on that whole thing about like, do they care about credit?
I think the answer to that is yes, they do care about credit. They care about
Okay.
credit. A lot of times the landlords care about how long you've been doing this business. They want to talk to some references, other landlords. They want to make sure you're a legitimate business and a legitimate company, and you won't tear up their house or your tenants won't tear up
Mm-hmm.
their house. And so they do care. They do. However, when working with us, Rental Home Locator, we bypass all of that. We get past all of that. We talk to the landlords and we work our magic
Mm-hmm.
and we make it
Okay.
so where yeah we're not providing any of that information. I think recently I had a operator which I think is a client of yours and they're like, hey, the landlord wanted me to provide this and that, and I think I saw that message a couple days later, 24, 48 hours later. And I'm like, hey, did you already provide that information? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I wish I would have seen this message sooner because I would have called the homeowner and said, you know, that we don't provide this information because we've already talked about this already, before.
Okay.
So anyway, the
Okay.
point being though, we generally do not, us at Rental Home Locator, we don't provide any of that information. We do not.
Oh, that's
However,
awesome.
yeah. However, outside of us, yes, a landlord is going to want to probably see some credentials of some sort. They're probably going to want to
Mm-hmm.
run your background, your credit, and they may want to know how
Mm.
long you've been doing this business. Do you have references and stuff like that? So yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty important to
So to
know.
get around
Yeah.
it, so to get around that, use Rental
Hmm.
Home Locator.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much.
what it sounds like. Yeah,
Well,
that's what it sounds like.
Katrina, we've been doing this for almost a year. And then, so we have kind of like some tips that we do and tricks, I guess you can say tips and tricks that we do. And so we're so used to talking to homeowners. And at this point, we have references, right? We have plenty of homeowners that they
Right.
can contact, operators that they can contact. And so that right there kind of validates, okay, great. They're legitimate. And although we're not going to be able to run their credit and things like that, we'll move forward. So we've kind of put in the work to be
Okay.
able to not have to provide that stuff.
And you can help people nationwide?
Yes,
Can you help people
nationwide.
nationwide?
Yes, that's correct.
Wow.
Yep. Every state in the
Okay.
United States. We've helped several people all throughout. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? One of my clients told me that you also now are getting into the placement services.
Yeah.
So now you can help people to fill their beds too.
Yeah, we are helping with that. We have an overwhelming response with assisting
Okay.
people with placement. So we kind of put a pause for now and it'll probably start again maybe June, July-ish.
Okay.
But yes, we can assist with that. Absolutely.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're branching out. It was just
Yeah.
the properties, and now you're getting into the placement services.
That's correct. Well, what I realize is a lot of people will say, okay, thanks. We have our house. Thank you for assisting us. And then they'll come back a month later. Do you help with resident? And I'm like,
Okay.
okay. Yeah. So a lot of
Okay.
people are kind of on the fence. And I'm like, okay, well, sure. We'll assist you with that. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome
Yeah.
too. So in my coaching program, I teach people how to do that. And one of the shortcuts, I teach 101 ways to fill your beds. Well,
Nice.
one of the shortcuts is to use a placement agent. So there you go.
Nice. There
There's
you
another
go.
placement agent.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So, are there specific, I know the criteria I give people as far as what type of house to look for. Are there certain houses that you look for and certain houses that you're like, no, that's not going to work for my clients? What do you
Yeah,
look for in a
there is.
property?
Well, yeah. So in general, no HOA. Try to avoid HOA if possible. Although there are some areas that the houses are in HOAs and the HOAs are very relaxed, very, right? But that's probably few and far between. So for the most part,
Hmm.
no HOAs. And then of
Okay.
course, try to get them in neighborhoods that are closer to public transportation because most of our residents, they do not have vehicles. So they need to be close to public transportation, close to a bus stop, a train, something like
Mm,
that. If the home can be close to
okay.
a hospital, that would be beneficial to some. Close to grocery stores also would be beneficial to some. Yeah.
Going back to like when you're talking to landlords, when
Hmm.
if someone is not using Rental Home Locator and they're talking to landlords, do you recommend that operators use the word group home, or should they frame it in a different way? Like, because sometimes when people hear group home, they think of something really trashy and negative. But then
Hmm.
if you say co-living or independent living, it's the same thing. The landlord might feel more comfortable with that. How do you feel about that?
Great question. Do not use group homes. I mean, unless you're really, because remember I mentioned we work with actual licensed group homes. So in that case, because
Hmm.
I am transparent to the landlord, I will tell them it's a licensed group home. And then I'll give them more
Okay.
information. But for the majority of us, we are not licensed. And so I do not
Yeah, we're
suggest to
not
use the
group
word
homes.
group homes. I just suggest to just let the owner or landlord know that it's a shared living environment, right? It's independent living. If you
Okay.
plan on housing seniors, let them know they're independent seniors, right? So that way,
Hmm.
because some landlords will get nervous when they hear seniors. If you use seniors, they'll get
Right.
nervous because then they think there's going to be doctors and hospitals and stuff there. But yeah, and they freak out a little and they think that could be a liability. So just I would
Okay.
say independent seniors or independent veterans or whomever. But basically, if you kind of say it like shared living environment, then they can understand. Then you can explain it further, but never
Okay.
use the term group home.
Group home.
Don't
Okay.
do
That's
that.
so interesting because you know what? I've been calling my homes group homes for like 6 years
Yeah,
now. And
yeah,
and I actually don't have none of my homes are group homes.
yeah.
None of them are group homes.
Well, because
I just
because
I
I believe the technical term for group home, like the technical or legal term, I believe it means a
mhm.
licensed home, right? That means
Yes.
licensed. Yeah,
Yes.
people that get licensed home get licensed care and stuff like that. But we use it
Yeah.
within the
In
community.
Texas, right. So in Texas in 2025, they actually legally defined group home
Ooh.
versus assisted living versus independent living versus shared housing. And so in Texas, a group home provides non medical personal care services. And I don't provide any services at all, only housing. So it's unlicensed. It is not a group home. But I even call my program group home on autopilot. I've been calling it group homes for
It's
years.
just so
So it's
easy.
hard for me to get out of it. Yeah.
It's
But
so
it's
easy.
co-living,
Co-living,
co-living.
shared
Yeah.
living,
Shared
independent
living.
living. It's so many terms
Yep.
that are used interchangeably. And I think group home
Mm-hmm.
we're so comfortable with that because we've been using it for years now. But technically,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're talking to landlords, do not say the term group home
Right.
because they already have think a negative thing about it, a negative connotation. They think, okay, this is not going to be great. Yeah. Shared
Right.
living works
Awesome.
better.
Shared living. Shared
Yeah.
living home.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how can this has been awesome, by the
Thank
way.
you.
Thank you. I'm not even gonna have to edit this. I'm gonna just throw it up. Yeah. But how can people get in contact with you if they want you to help them to find a home so that they can do their co-living home out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. They can find me online. So we do have social media. We don't post often, but we are going to start, I promise. So on
Okay.
all social media platforms, it's Rental Home Locator. And then, of course, we have a website, which is rentalhomelocator.com. There you can find out more about who we are, what we do. The pricing is on there. And then if anyone's interested in signing up, they can fill out a Calendly and, set up a call. And anyone that is interested that comes from you, Katrina, they will get a discount as well.
Yay! Oh
Yeah,
yeah, and I appreciate that.
we like
Thank you. I
discounts.
send my people to you, and yes, and they always come back and they're like, "I said your name, Katrina, and I got a discount,
I got a
a good
discount.
one."
And I'm always like,
Yep.
I love Katrina. They're like, yeah, she's awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time. I know that you're on a different time zone than I am,
Yeah.
living that digital nomad life, which is awesome. I love that.
Thank
So
you.
I have a conference coming up this month, April 24th and 25th,
Hmm.
and it's called the Co-Living Business Conference. It's here in LA. So if you're back in the country, I would love for you to come.
Okay.
Yes.
It's funny. I was going to ask you about that. I'm like, Katrina, if you're open to a virtual, having someone up on a screen, I will totally be there.
Really? So,
Yeah.
it's funny. A lot of people have asked me for a virtual option, and I've said no,
Really?
not this time,
Oh, wow.
only because of fear. Because this is my first
Yeah.
conference, and so I don't want there to be technical problems, and so
Gotcha.
that's why I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. But I've had an overwhelming response to like, can we please have a virtual option? And so
Really?
I'm seriously considering having that as an option for people to where there's a virtual. I just have to figure out the technical part of that
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
even though I'm group home on autopilot, I have to learn these technical things and I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to mess up the stream, especially if people are paying, for the live stream. I don't want to mess that up for people.
Exactly.
So
Understood. Yeah, but yeah,
I'll
consider
figure
that
that
because
out.
so
Yeah.
many people
Okay.
are, or what if someone wants to attend, but they're just not local? They're not local to the state,
Exactly.
so, there's
Yeah,
ways to do
there's a
it.
lot of people because I
Yeah.
help people nationwide too. And so,
Oh,
like, even
okay.
I think I have two coaching clients that are local. All
Wow.
my other coaching clients are all around the
Somewhere else.
country.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I love it.
So they're all like, well, I want to be there, but I childcare issues or work or
Hmm.
whatever.
Hmm.
So I think I need to go ahead and release that live stream option.
I think so.
And I'll have to coordinate with you and get you on that program because I actually do have one slot that I'm like, I think I'm going to change this. So maybe I could put you in there.
I know. I
People would
saw
love
that. I'm
that.
like, darn, I think you have to be in LA. I'm not in, I won't be in town. I won't be
Yeah.
back for a while. So I
Right.
don't
Okay.
foresee exactly when I'll be back. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
So everything has to
Well,
be virtual.
this has been amazing, Nicole, and I will definitely
Thank
let you
you.
know this week because my conference is coming up soon. So this
Okay.
week I will make that decision on whether or
Cool.
not it's going to have a virtual option, but
Okay.
I know everybody's going to love it and they're going to love this interview. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
too. Thanks, Katrina.
All right. Have a good evening or
Okay.
morning
You
or
too.
whatever time it is.
Okay.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.